Yes, good afternoon, everybody. And now the time is 3 o'clock. And with me today, I have BoMill and the CEO, Andreas Jeppsson. The topic for today's event is a brief update on BoMill, and then, of course, status on the recent agreements about distribution and orders coming in. So it's been a busy year for BoMill. And for the audience, as always, please post your questions just below the video screen, and I will hand them over to Andreas while he presents the company. So with that said, Andreas, welcome, and please carry on.
Thank you. I'm just starting with some repetition for some of you that knows us more, but for some new listeners, just to give you a brief introduction of who we are and where we're coming from. So we are located with our head office in outside of Malmö, here in Sweden. Over the years here, we have built up, I would say, a very solid expertise when it comes to grain quality sorting. And we have also backed it up, especially during the last few years here, 2 years, I would say, we have backed it up with a very strong patent portfolio with the launch of our new equipment, especially connected to that. We'll talk more about that later on. What is very warm to our heart is that the fact that we are very close to our customers, and also that we are in strong collaboration or partnership with regional distributors. We'll also talk more about that further on in the presentation here. So what's really new and intriguing about BoMill is the fact that we have launched our brand new equipment beginning of this year, the BoMill Insight. So basically, the essence of what we are doing is that we are improving the grain value, the value of a grain through high-speed individual grain sorting. So basically what we are doing, we are analyzing and sorting every kernel on its inner properties. In general, the grain industry has traditionally, or what you're doing traditionally, is that you're sorting on size or shapes or density, or also color differences. But what we are doing and what actually counts is what you have on the inside of the kernels, and that is what we are analyzing and what we are sorting on. The equipment is designed with simplicity down to every detail, I would say. Everything when it comes to installation, operation, and all that, and also reliability. So we can say that we're using very high and advanced technology in order to create this simplicity and reliability for our customers with this machine. With this technology and the fact that we are sorting grains, there are endless opportunities what you can do. But you cannot do everything in once, especially not as coming to the market with a new machine. What we are doing here, you need to have a focus and you need to have a very targeted market, and both when it comes to which segments you would like to approach and also which regions you would like to approach. So our segments, what we have identified as the most interesting for us now, that is malt houses for barley and flour milling industry for wheat, and also the suppliers that is supplying the malt and the barley and the wheat to the flour mills and the malt houses. So those, we can say, those are the 3 target segments that we are approaching. The regions that we are working in is the European markets, naturally being our home market, US and Canada, and also Latin America, where we have selected a few more targeted market as well, targeted countries like Mexico, and then down to the south we are looking more intensively at Brazil, Uruguay, where we actually are delivering a machine and install a machine in the beginning of this year, and Argentina. Just give you a very brief overview of grain and the quality of the grain. So the challenge that the industry has globally is that we have climate changes, and also you have regulations such as that you are restricted to use restricting in use of fertilizers or pesticides and things like that. And that altogether is affecting the quality of the grain, but also the yield, how much you actually can grow on every field. So that is a challenge that the industry is facing. So that must be that we are using what is growing on the fields in a more efficient and in a better way. If you're looking at the harvest for these years, we can see that there are issues, especially with protein content or protein levels and yield in many countries that we are working on without going into the details. Which means that there are shortage, some certain qualities that is required for the malting and the flour milling industry is very difficult to get. And when you get them, you have to pay quite a high premium and have to source it from different areas or other regions, which is also a challenge when it comes from a sustainability point of view. But the solution here, and where we can make a big difference, is that we have a potential to upgrade the quality that is, and what you can source more locally, you can upgrade that to quality, so you can use it in your production. So that's one of the things that we are working very closely together with our customers in finding these business cases.
Andreas, I know that you mentioned before how much you can actually improve of those grains you sorted on the old traditional way. So just for newcomers to your story, could you just briefly update us on that, because that's a very big digit and very big difference.
Yeah, it can be, and it is. I'll just give you a typical business case for investing in a machine like the BoMill Insight. You have a payback time very often within a year. And with the challenges we're facing this year, I would say it's even shorter than that in for many regions. So you have a very good and short payback on it.
Very strong value proposition.
Yes.
In that sense. Yes.
Yeah. For the machine that we launched at the beginning of the year, we have installations that is in commercial operation already. So we have 2 lines that is currently operating with very good positive feedback and with very easy and fast installation. The commissioning has went super smooth. And feedback is also that what we have worked on here is to make the simplicity when it comes to operating and maintaining the equipment has also proven to working out really well, and that's also the feedback that we get from our customers. And the fact that it has been running continuously, one of the machines have been running more than 1,600 hours continuously since it went into operation, and actually without one single problem due to technical problems of the equipment. So it's I would say we had high expectations on what the machine will perform and how well it would perform, but in my wildest dream, I could not imagine that it will work this well. So we are really happy with how well it performs from a technical standpoint. So yeah.
And it's important for these clients, of course, to have no downtime when you have
downtime, and the efficiency in your production here is key.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking into this type of operations, it's very few people working there. I mean, it's a fully automated production. So basically, we are pushing the button, and then the machine is running without any supervision during the day. We have some kind of an integration for the production's monitoring, what we call SCADA system. And that's basically, if you have an alarm, that's where you will see it, but it's continuously only running. So that's how it works. So to your point, the reliability is key here. Besides these 2 installations, we also have new orders that are in the process of being delivered or are delivered. One of them is for Latin America. It's actually for Uruguay, to be more specific. So this is for a global grain processing company that are present all over the world. So this will be in like an initial investment to assess the different benefits that our technology will give to them. And then it will be assessed from a global perspective. And that is already on the boat on the way, and it will be installed here in the end of the year and commissioned into production at the beginning of next year. And the latest order that we received, excuse me?
No, just talk. I
Yeah.
do it after you
Yeah.
present the other order. Sorry.
Yeah, and the newest order that we received here a few weeks back, that is for our new customers in Lithuania. And they are a grain processor based in the center of the country in Kaunas, specializing in barley. So we are supplying barley both for the malting and for the feed industry. And here we have actually done a special solution where we have installed the machine in a kind of a container solution. So we are delivering the machine in a container, including all the necessary connection points to that. And then so it's basically very simple installation for the customer to do at site. So it will be only a day or two to get it into production. And that will be delivered here during October and going into production soon thereafter.
So even though it's a BoMill inside and it's the same machine, you see very different setups from client to client. Do you see different sales cycles as well, Andreas? Or
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, there is not. This is industry, and so there is not one size fits all here. It's you need to very much build a business case based upon the challenges or the needs that customer has, because it depends so much on where they're sourcing the grains from, how the infrastructure looks in their plant, with how the elevators and what amount of silos they have, and what amount of recipes they have in the production, and also what kind of production equipment they have. So there is quite a lot of knowledge involved in building these business cases.
And this versatility, because BoMill inside that's the brain, if you can say so. So everything that comes around the brain, do you take care of this yourself with your own technicians, or is this why you built this distribution network as well?
Yes and no. It depends. It depends on the case.
Yes.
I mean, I will come to more to the distributors later on, but having the distributors, I think we're coming into here. They have, of course, they have a knowledge, and they often are supplying equipment, other type of equipment that is required to run our machine, like elevators and silos and this kind of different kind of cleaning equipments that you have in this type of plants. And very often they are also selling the whole solution or the whole plant to the customers, and then we will be one part of it. So yes.
Yeah, but I could imagine you're a small, very versatile organization, and you have big plans for the future. So to install a machine with the different needs from each client, it also demands some kind of people on site to install and start up the whole thing.
The installation doesn't have to vary so much. It's more about how you're gonna make money out of installing the machine. That will differ from case to case.
Okay.
Yeah, but also the installation will vary. But yeah, that is less of a complexity, I would say. But it could be challenges in some cases, and that's also how the machine is designed. It's designed to be very simple to install it.
Mm-hmm.
And compared to other equipments, our equipment is very much simpler to install for various reasons, but it's designed in a way that it makes it very easy to install it. So yeah, the reason for why we're having distributors is, of course, that we would like to be close to our customers, and to have a good network where we have established relationships with the key people and all that within our target customers. So that is where the partnership with them comes into the picture. And of course, we have a joint assessment of prospects and customer visits together with them. So just naming, we have currently 4 distributors. The one that we have been working with the longest, that's Bratney in the that has their main operation is in the US, quite a big operation. They have an established customer base in the grain processing industry all over the US, and they also have a sales force that's covering the whole country, mainland, I would say, except Alaska and Hawaii. And they also have an in-house project team that can handle quite big projects. So that's pretty unique for them as well. So it's a very strong company with a lot of good knowledge. And then we have our new distributor, and that's up in Canada, located out of Winnipeg in the middle of the country. We signed an agreement with them here in August this year. Also very renowned supplier. They actually have a very good relationship with Bratney. So Bratney and Nexseed, even if there is no formal connections, but they have a very good collaboration. So it's a natural step for us to take in the Canadian market that we are collaborating with Nexseed. And they are covering with salespeople, they are covering all the grain production provinces of Canada. Another new that we signed here at the beginning of the summer, that is Tripet and Renault in France. It's an old operation that has been around for a long time, soon 200 years actually. And they are very strong. They are basically selling different kind of equipments to every flour mill in France. So they have a very good relationship and network there as well. So we are starting up a lot of activities with them as well here during the autumn, during the fall. And the fourth and the newest distributor that we signed an agreement with here beginning of this month is IP Global in Mexico, located in Puebla, an hour and a half outside of Mexico City. Also have a very long and good knowledge for the grain and food industry, especially within the flour mill industry, but also in the malting industry. So it's also a really good fit for us. So all our 4 distributors are something that we are really, really happy to work with them. They have a very good knowledge, they have a good network, and they see, just like we do, they also see this long term.
So yeah, well, you've really been busy this year, Andreas, for many reasons. I know you travel a lot. There's a question here from one in the audience. Where is the biggest market potential in relation to your geography? And we can twist it a little. So now you build a network. So in this network, where do you see like 3-5 years down the road?
I would say in all of these markets there are huge opportunities. It's actually so some of these, take for example the project that we're doing in Uruguay with the global grain processor. It's a global company. There's huge opportunities, and that has opportunity to be like a global business. We are working with a flour mill company here in Europe that also have an opportunity to be really big. US is a huge market. Difficult to say. I see actually a lot of opportunities in all of these focus markets, and that's why we have chosen them. So which one that actually will be the biggest out of them, time will tell. I would say at this point in time, I see equally opportunities among.
Yeah, and it's also important to understand for the audience and potential investors that the BoMill inside is quite unique. You don't have any direct competitors, and as you mentioned before, just to boil the whole thing down, you actually early on mentioned what markets and what products you are going to, or what types of grains you're going to focus on to not have a too big scope to cover. Yeah,
and that's important to bring up actually, because I mean, as I said before, you could do a lot of different grains potentially with the machine. Now we have decided to focus on 2, wheat and barley. And same here. I mean, you could potentially do approach a lot of different industry, like you have pasta industry and you have a number of different industry. But in order to build up this expertise and to understand how we can develop these strong business cases with the customers, we have decided to work on a few industries as of now. But as time is moving on and so on, we will of course start working on other industries and with other type of grains as well. But one thing at a time.
Yeah, no, that's wise,
Yeah.
and there's huge potential in both barley and wheat and in both the brewing and the flour industry.
There is enough to do. I'll put it like that.
Exactly. So just a quick question here about the distributors, Andreas.
Mhm.
So of course you're supporting them 100%. Are they taking care about the service in case something happens? Now you have a really strong case with no downtime, but down the road, I could imagine that you will experience something on the equipment.
Of course.
And in that sense, do they build a small inventory of parts, or do you ship? When they ask to ship some parts.
They will have the spare parts, the most commonly used spare parts in their warehouse, and that's how they're working with other suppliers already.
Yeah.
And they also have, I would say, all of them have very skilled technicians that has been around for quite a while. So I'm not concerned about them being able to be trained. Some of them are already. Bratney, for example, being able to service and maintain the equipment. So that will be handled by the distributors also.
Yeah, and then you
We
mentioned.
don't need to build up a big organization over here to support them. I mean, we will have people and the expertise to support them, of course, but we don't need to do it ourselves. Now, in the beginning, we will need to be more out, but eventually, as time is evolving, we can rely more on the distributors to do that part of the work as well. Also, when it comes to installations.
And that's exactly what my question was about. So it's not like you're going to build a big organization to cover the world, but more lean, and then you build loyalty over time, and your strong distributors are then able to help you more or less 100%.
Yes, that's exactly how it is.
Good. Yes. So I think we got through most of it. Well, you mentioned in the beginning about the yields right now, from the latest harvest, both in Latam, US, and Europe. Where are the biggest challenges right now in terms of that? Is it Europe or is it US? Because you read different things in news.
The short answer to that it depends.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
No, but you can say the harvest here, take Sweden, for example, it has been challenging both for wheat and for barley. If you take the US, the wheat harvest is pretty good, but when it comes to barley, it is very problematic. Same for Canada. And it's for different reasons. For some, there are problems that we cannot do anything about because it's more basic problems. But in some cases, we can do a lot. So that's again, it depends on the problem that the customers are facing.
Yeah, because we're reading a lot about, due to the climate changes, as you mentioned, we saw these awful pictures in the beginning from Sweden, but we have seen the same from US with drought, and it looks like a desert when you look into the farmer's field, which is of course awful. And then if you look up a little further up in Sweden, well, the field was covered with water, so you could actually not harvest the field. But both these problems, of course, you need to harvest the grain, but both these issues you can actually get a better yield with your technology.
And the yield you cannot, potentially you can upgrade it.
Yeah.
But it's more about making sure that what you have grown, what you have in the harvest, that you can actually make the best use of it.
Yeah. Okay. In that case, it's yield, but it's not yield in that sense. So if you have 100 kilos, you can probably use a larger part of those 100 kilos of time.
You have the opportunities to upgrade it, yes.
Yeah. Good,
Yeah.
good.
So that is one big part of our business model, is that we are, as part of a sales process, that when we are approaching customers, we are discussing business cases with them. A natural step in that process is that the customer is sending a number of different samples to us, and then we are sorting it from them. So then we are showing how it actually looks like, and then we can discuss how we can maximize it, or we can get the best use out of it. And this actually is something that we can also do. Bratney in the US, they have actually a machine from us where we can also do test sortings for the customers. So when it comes to customers in Canada and the US, they are sending it to the laboratory or the workshop in Iowa, where we are located, in Des Moines, Iowa, and then they are sorting it for them and then analyzing it with our support.
Yeah, interesting. There's a question more here from the audience. That's more about finances and your current situation. Of course, you cannot mention if you are preparing any kind of a capital raise. But how do you feel about the financial situation, Andreas? And when will we start to see cash flow rolling in BoMill? I know you would like that to happen soon, but could you comment a little on that?
I mean, with the orders that we have received and the new orders that we have in the pipeline, it looks, it looks good. And how good, it depends on how fast the orders are coming in. I'm pretty happy with the situation.
Good.
To summarize.
If we look into investments and CapEx, is there any big investments down the road the next 6 or 9 months that we should be aware of?
No.
Except for building yourselves the representation?
No, I actually have the next priorities for this year, and maybe that will answer your question.
Yeah, that's good.
What we have a focus on here at BoMill and in the organization, that is selling, getting orders, and we have a commercial team, including myself, but I will also say that we have a technical team that has, how should I put it, a commercial orientation. That is very market and customer oriented. So I would say that all people here, one way or the other, have a sales mindset and trying to always to think about how we can help our customers to generate business and how it can generate business for us. So it's that is something that makes me really happy. So we have built up since the launch of the BoMill Insight, and already before that, we have built up a strong sales funnel that we are working on, that is filled up continuously. So that's the priorities. And of course, in a stage when you are launching a new equipment like we do with the BoMill Insight, it's important that we are creating reference cases. So to making sure that continuously following up, making sure that we don't have any surprises in how the equipment is behaving or something like that. That's something that we have also one of our priorities. Coming back to what I said before, it actually looks really good, so it's not really a headache, but it's a work that needs to be done, because you never know. It's still quite early in the since we launched the equipment. And then we are focusing on putting a lot of time in giving support and guidance to our distributors, making sure that they are going out to the market and approaching its customers in the best way. In some cases, we are doing it by giving them training to their salespeople. Some cases we have joint teams meeting with their potential or prospect customers. In some cases we are going there and supporting them with physical meetings. So it's a combination of these things.
Thanks a lot, Andreas. I think more or less time is up.
Yeah.
And it sounds really interesting what is going on, and it's nice to have you for this presentation. So I hope I will see you soon again.
Yeah.
And with that said, I would like to thank, first of all, Andreas for presenting his company here today, and also to the questions from audience. So, by that said, I will close the presentation and enjoy your day.
Thank you.